Hey guys, ECRG here, and today we're going to be talking about the struggles of dealing with global team members. Hey guys, so we're going to be talking about the struggles of dealing with global team members today. And now I know this is something that is very popular in clinical research, being on global studies, team members being over here, over there, not just all over the US, but in other countries, Denmark, Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia, all over the world pretty much. Even countries in APAC, Australia and Pacific areas. So I know this is something that can be very difficult to manage, taking extra time to have things happen. And this is something that I am by no means an expert at, still getting used to that on a daily basis. So I'm hoping that people in the comments down below will offer their tips and strategies as well. I'm going to detail a few here, and then I'm going to talk about some of the challenges that it can present as well, because I know we've had our share of challenges with this. One of the positives about working on a global trial is interacting with people from all different parts of the world. They bring their different perspectives and diversity. And honestly, I just love talking to people about their culture, especially their food. And you get that experience on the clinical trial, and you get that experience just in life. Just that life experience is something I look forward to, talking to people and learning about some of the struggles they go through and their food and what it's like to travel in their country. So I'm going to talk about some of the challenges here. A little bit of a different video here. I don't have 3 or 4 succinct reasons or strategies here. I'm just going to do a little bit more straight talking into the microphone, and hopefully you guys like that as well. One of the struggles I have with different team members all over the place is their PTO is different than the American PTO system. So they get 5 weeks minimum. If you're in Europe, they get 5 weeks minimum vacation and a bunch of extra holidays that we don't get here in the States. So as I'm sure a lot of you that are listening in the States know, that our holidays, we may have holidays, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the company you work for gives you that day off. So even though it's a holiday, you're still at work, where the EU, when they have a holiday, they're not working pretty much. So not only do they get 5 weeks minimum PTO, they also get all these holidays off. And that can really slow down the momentum of the trial. And momentum is huge, just in life or in clinical trials also. Momentum is huge. So if you're working on something, and then half of your team is gone on vacation for a couple days, that can really slow things down on your end, especially if you need to check with them or the more senior people. That can really slow things down. Typically, the more experienced the person, they're going to be checking their computer, and you're going to have access to them anyway. But still, it's not the same as if they're in the office every day. And I'm one of the people that believes that I think people need more time off. I really do. I mean, life isn't just about working hard all the time and going day in and day out, going 100%. I think we need more time off. But that's not to say that when half the team is off, that it doesn't slow down the other aspects of the team. So PTO is one of the things that can definitely slow down and can be hard to manage. The differences in culture there, and the differences in PTO between America and EU. Another thing that can be difficult to manage, and I'm sure this applies to both groups of people or different people from any country, is the accents. It can be hard at first until you get used to the accent. People like to talk really fast in their own language and think you understand, but then you end up not really understanding them, so that either causes delays because you're not really understanding what they expect from you, or that may cause delays from you asking to repeat over and over again, whether it's in a meeting or face-to-face. I think it tends to be a little bit easier to understand face-to-face because you can read their lips as well. But over the phone or in WebEx, you don't really have that feedback to be able to do that. So not really a huge deal, because eventually you'll get used to it, but it matters, especially if you end up taking meeting minutes, people talking over each other and all the accents coming into play. That can be difficult for you to take meeting minutes. or anyone that does a lot of writing or recording of voices. That can be difficult. I have worked on trials with people that are 6 hours ahead. That's the most common. So that's going to be people in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Europe, pretty much, yeah, many parts of Europe, Spain, London, about 6 hours ahead. So basically, when I get in the office at 8:30, 9 o'clock, they're only there until about 11 a.m. So I only get about 2 hours with them until they're off of work. So pretty much anything that they need to sign off on or I need their input on has to wait till the next day. So really, I've got to be really, really on top of my game and really early with everything if I want it done on time. So I got to make sure that my timelines are set out in advance and they know the timelines too. Because otherwise, you're going to be late on a lot of things if you don't have that, if you haven't thought about that in advance. So that's another thing. It's just difficult and you've got to work around it. So I feel like there's no easy fix. Maybe I'm just not thinking of one. If you guys have any fixes down below, please don't hesitate to comment, or you can email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. We love hearing you guys' feedback on these things. But yeah, that's one of the main things. Like for example, with the meeting minutes, if you're taking meeting minutes and everyone's updates are coming through, or you want to send out for everyone's updates, or just with anything in general, you send them out typically after 11 o'clock their time, or at 11 o'clock your time, so they're not getting the fact that they need to respond until the very next day, and then they only get 48 hours to respond. Not to mention there's going to be a whole bunch of other emails sent out from the other team members that are going to be sitting there on their desk in their inbox the next day, so they may forget about the stuff that you sent for them to do. So it can be really tough. Meeting minutes typically aren't that urgent as some other things in the trial. Like if you have an SIV planned, everyone's scrambling to get the study binder sent out. So there can be some challenges with that. But I think that you just have to plan ahead and be really on top of your game in the planning department to make sure that everything gets done on time and in a timely manner. It would seem really intuitive to think that if everyone is working in the same time zone or just 1 hour or 2 hours off from each other, that would be much more efficient. But I'm curious to think, because I've never worked on a non-global trial before. I've always worked on global trials where everyone's in different time zones from each other. I'm wondering, comment down below if you've done this, if it is that much more efficient and you like it better, or it really doesn't matter either way. I think another challenge that I've noticed with having members in different time zones and all over the globe is that you really become one-dimensional communication. You only have one method of communication, and that's email, because you've eliminated instant message where you can find out something instantly, and you've eliminated the phone, and you've eliminated WebEx as well. So you really only have one method of communication. So this kind of goes into, if you watch my video, if not, you can watch it after this video, on some of the most important soft skills or most important skills or something like that in clinical research. And it's really communication, which you got to be really good at email communication in general in clinical research, but this makes it very imperative that you're good at communication in clinical research, because if you are in a global study and you become one-dimensional, you need to be able to really write a really good email so everyone knows what's going on. So that's unfortunate in the global scene, that you literally are limited to only a few hours of having all three methods of communication, and then after that you become one-dimensional in your communication method. So I'm curious to see if that really plays a huge part, or if people are just generally good at emails now, where it's not really that big of a deal. So completely different style video this time. I want you guys down below or via email to let me know your tips and tricks for managing team members in different time zones, and then I'll do another video summarizing that later on. I'd love to give you guys feedback, so we'll summarize that at another date. If you like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe. Please comment down below. We love your guys' comment. Please let us know what you think about global clinical trials and if everyone's in the same time zone or everyone's in the same city or state working on a clinical trial, how that affects the timelines and the ability of the team to work together. You can email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Once again, I'm going to say it one more time. Comment down below. We love you guys. Comment. All right, guys, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. New videos all the time, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, guys, take care.